Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so Cancerians, we are going to take a look and ask the universe here, since we're in the cosmos behind me, um, what is the most compatible match? Who is it? What does it look like for Cancerian? Okay, so we have Nine of Cups, we have a Ten of Pentacles, a Ten of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. Okay, so first off, we have somebody who would still be in like all that minor arcana. So the kind of partner that would most likely match Cancerian right now would be someone who is still like very much on their part of a journey. Violet, hi sweetheart. Kimmy Shaw, Sewanita, Karami, Sunflowers, Moonflower. So nice to see you guys. Thank you. KQ, Hoodie, hi. So we do have a character that would be still like processing in certain respects, okay? Because I always look at those minor arcana as like a journey before we like fully say, okay, here's who I am as a king or queen or emperor or empress. So this is somebody who would be still developing something, almost like Cancerian likes somebody that is still a work in progress and is joyful about it, right? But we do have two tens. Tens represent like and two nines. So we do see Cancerian saying, it'd be great to meet somebody like right before they buy their house and fully commit to where they're going to live. It'd be great to, work with somebody, meet somebody, fall in love with somebody, or have a relationship with somebody that is like all about self development. Somebody who's like, let's say decided to work on their fitness, but maybe they were heavier and now they've been working diligently to like change some habits, and they work on health and fitness and healthy eating, so it's going to be at the forefront of their mind. Somebody who has known sorrow and they had to come back from that, and they've been on this journey to like really commit to how they manifest and what kinds of things. Basically somebody maybe who's more mindful, somebody who's had some work to do on themselves. That seems to be the kind of mate that would most match Cancerian. Basically, Cancerian saying, I'm not looking for somebody who's perfect with, chiseled abs and, perfect skin and somebody who's like made it in life and everything is, shiny and brand new. Rather, I'd rather meet somebody or match with somebody who has known what it's like to work very hard to either redefine yourself or, to implement some things and really like have a comeback story. I could see that being very appealing because this is somebody who proves that they're resilient, somebody who obviously I would say if Cancerian is looking for someone or would match well with someone who has gone through difficulties in life and has survived them and shows that tenacity and shows that look, life's not perfect. Sometimes life is messy, but that's also why I'm not going to run, because I've been through the stinky, the dirty, the messy, the boogers, the blood, all those things, that I'm not afraid of falling because I know I've fallen before and I can get back up and dust off my bruised and bloody knees. I'm not afraid of looking foolish because I've crashed and burned before and felt foolish. So I have more like genuine tenacity. And I think that might be what Cancerian finds most appealing. Not somebody who's perfect, but somebody who they could trust to not run when life gets hard. And yet somebody who also has like a more positive outlook, even though they might just now have a positive outlook because they put behind them a pretty difficult chapter. It feels like Cancer wants somebody who has lived a real life. Let me ask this. Is this person in Cancer's world yet, or will Cancer be meeting this person? We have Empress and we have the Nine of Cups. This person's close to sailing into Cancer's life. Now, it could be that Cancer has to sail out of their world and explore something in order to meet this person. But it does certainly look like Cancer is in a place where it's like, if I'm doing things that I love, and maybe this reflects Cancerian's own like energy pretty well. And it's like, if I go out and I do things that I love, that's probably likely where I will meet a person like this. Because honestly, I think they're a lot like Cancer. I want to live a good life. I want to sail. I want to, not get stuck in a rut. There's a lot of crummy things that have happened in probably Cancer's life as well, because you don't get to become an empress or an emperor until you've, kind of had to work through and develop a lot of things. We have to be strong. We have to be flexible. We have to be humble. We have to get comfortable with with making mistakes and saying sorry. Like emperors and empresses still make mistakes, but they handle it different. And I just kind of think that Cancerian is at this point in their own life where they are pretty comfortable in their own skin and they are seeking a good life. And I think if they go out and they do things that they enjoy, they're like destined to end up meeting this person, right? There's such a similarity here. Nine of Cups. I want somebody who can laugh at their mistakes. I want somebody who doesn't, I don't want somebody who's looking for perfect because I'm not perfect. I mean, I think that's what Cancerian has said here. But I would say it's only a matter of time and not very much time. This could be in 9 days where Cancerian meets this person. But it'll probably be when Cancer is doing something that Cancer is enjoying, or they're laughing, or they're outside doing something, or they're, whatever, at the grocery store buying items for a specific silly thing that they want to make for Halloween, or it's just, it feels like Cancer's going to be in a great mood when they bump into this person. But I would just say that this person is right there on the horizon. Now, what zodiac might they be? They could be almost anything. They could be a fire sign. They could be a water sign. They could be an air sign, or they could be a earth sign. We literally have all four represented here, which is pretty nice to say. Cancer's like, I don't care what zodiac they are. I care about their collection of life experiences. I'm wondering if Cancer, I always say this about myself. I'm always like, well, I'm a big, huge Virgo. But I actually never really think of myself as a Virgo because a lot of it doesn't fit me. And then there'll be very specific things I do that it's like, even I'm laughing, going, okay, that's about as Virgo as you could get. But the majority of me doesn't quite fit in the Virgo box. And I personally think there's so much more than, any zodiac sign. Anyway, certainly so much more than our sun sign. And I'm just picturing maybe that's the perspective that Cancer has as well. It's like it depends on what, I don't think that Cancer thinks they fit better with a particular zodiac. I think it all depends really on a person's life experiences and how they approach life. That's what I would say, and possibly a much more well-rounded person is who Cancer is going to match with. But it does look like they're headed to, like, on a collision course to sail into this person's port very soon. So that's coming up, although Cancer's not with this person yet. All right, now I want to ask, what makes Cancer attractive at this moment? We have got, hi guys, so good to see everybody. We've got an 8 of Pentacles, we got the Wheel of Fortune, the 10 of Wands, and the Magician. So the things that make Cancerian very attractive right now, I would say first off, with all these different, pieces of art and artists being shown, I would say that Cancer has a very unique way of approaching any kind of problem. They may have an artistic way to approach even like a problem that you wouldn't think you'd use art for. I think it just speaks of variety and many different concepts. Like Cancerian could be somebody who's got a brain that just works just a little bit different, just a little off the beaten path. They could be inspired by many things, like, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. This Cancerian could be drawn to different types of solutions. They could be very well read. They could be somebody that has, a background in international studies, as well as, a background in like hard computer science, as well as interpretive dance. And it's like for any particular situation, particularly ways that Cancerian makes money, they could have just a funky, eclectic blend of things that they do. I don't know. Eclectic is definitely the word I want to go with. Maybe it's at the tip of my mind because and arranging my home, I was asking some family members for opinions. And bizarrely, I asked my younger brother, which, by the way, he and I have clashing fashion sense. And I've always said he has the worst fashion sense ever. But I was just kind of curious. What do you think? So I show him these pictures and he says, actually, I like the first one. It was more eclectic. And it was like all these mishmash, different colored rugs that I had in my living room. And I was so surprised that he liked the one that had no cohesiveness to it, which I actually kind of preferred it too. I don't know if he meant it's more like you, it's kind of disheveled, or if he actually thought it looked better, but I thought that was interesting. But this comes across as somebody who's not disheveled, but rather like multifaceted is the way I would describe this Cancerian. But we've got this Wheel of Fortune also. So that's attractive about Cancerian. And so too is this leaning toward the future. I think anybody who knows Cancerian can see them always like willing to open up a door to the unknown. Cancerian could be somebody who likes mysteries. They like to read mysteries. They like to talk about ideas that other people haven't even heard of. And it like opens people's minds and gives people hope. There's a lot of growth, right? It's landing on green here. And I just think that Cancerian is very attractive because they look toward, doors that can open. They look toward things that they can maybe, gravitate toward that would be like progressive. That's what I'll say. We have a 10 of Wands and we have that Magician. I definitely feel like Cancerian has no baggage. This Cancerian could also practice that art of like every 6 months they go through their closet. They say, what have I not worn in the last 6 months? Okay, you go. I'm going to take them to, a clothing like consignment shop where I can drop off my clothes and then they give me a store credit and I can go find something else on the rack that I get to take home. I could see Cancerian being somebody who's like, I shed old things, I repurpose things, I gift things back into the flow of the universe, and then I make space for other things to come into my life. Cancerian could also be somebody who likes to travel on public transit specifically because they like to like interact with other people. And I almost feel like this is all about like Cancerian's attractive because they're always gravitating toward what comes next, what comes next. Let's look toward what's next. And we have the Magician. So Cancerian could be a very good orator as well. They could be somebody that, has a way about them with words, with speeches, with communicating. They could be somebody who naturally can persuade people or get people excited about ideas, maybe because they're excited about life, but it doesn't feel insincere. It just feels like Cancerian is very attractive because they give people ideas that you too can progress in life. What a great thing to of course I would be a charismatic person that anybody would want to be around. That's awesome. What is Cancerian's genuine biggest strength? Page of Swords, their active mind. They question everything. They want to know everything. They want to absorb information, even if it's just watching from afar and grabbing little things and tucking it into their little shell and be like, I paid attention to that. That was a little nugget that I'll tuck away somewhere in my brain. And someday in a random Scrabble game, I'll come up with a word that, wins me 50 points or something because I sequestered that little thought somewhere away as I observed this or I learned something. They could also be really good listeners, really good at hearing. There's what's said and then there's what's not said. And I think Cancerian's good at hearing both. All right. And then I want to go and take a look at what does an X think of Cancerian? Universe. Maybe this isn't the best question to ask, but I've been asking it for the other zodiacs so far too. So we have the Magician. They feel like Cancerian is exactly what we've seen. One of the things that makes Cancerian so attractive, that magician energy, that ability to like really believe for themselves that they can manifest, but also instill that belief and confidence in others. So an X sees Cancerian exactly as, like one of their most beautiful attributes. I would just say, if anything, that means an X thinks very highly of Cancerian. I'm not going to go down the road of why are they an X because it's not what this storyline is intended for. This is just about Cancer. But I do love that one of the most beautiful things about Cancer, an X sees that too. And that's what they remember about Cancer. They remember Cancer was somebody who had ideas and plans and dreams, and they started to make those things happen. And they may have inspired this X to start to believe that they too could perhaps, progress in life. I am frozen. I'm going to have to go put on a jacket or something. And then I want to ask, how do others see Cancerian? Now, this is in non-romantic context. Queen of Cups, Four of Cups. So loving, warm, welcome, open, like very emotionally giving, somebody that would probably give people a piggyback twisted an ankle, even if it was 3, we'll get there. Cancerian might also be somebody who is with the selkies up above here, might also be somebody that is like they live a life of duality. Like Cancerian can be loving, giving, and nurturing, but then also, the opposite of that would be to like withdraw and disappear sometimes. It's almost like it's that duality, which that makes sense for a crab, sometimes tucking back into its shell. But then we also see that Four of Cups. So others see Cancerian as a person that maybe is only there when another person needs them. When there is like, oh God, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have enough food. And all of a sudden Cancerian like shows up and buys somebody lunch. Or I kind of feel like other people see Cancer as a person who sometimes knows when there is a deficit and they come in and they offer it and then they kind of disappear and fade into the background again. I also think Cancerian does come across as a bit of a mystery to other people. Very few people have the privilege of knowing enough about Cancer. There's only one bowl here full of ramen. All the others are empty. And I feel like you have to be very lucky for Cancer to let you in very, very deeply. That's not a negative. It's just for as empathetic as Cancer might be, not many people know that much about Cancer in return. And then I do want to ask one last question, even though I kind of struggled with asking this for like, I think Virgo, because I feel like it would be so variable. But what is the thing that makes people most intimidated or challenged by Cancerian? The Fool. It's interesting because if Cancerian is good at, like enjoying their life, encouraging others to believe that they can manifest, and then Cancerian has this soft way of coming in just when something is needed and offering support, and then, kind of withdrawing again, that does require somebody who's quite bold, right? Somebody who would be pretty unafraid to like trust their instincts. And I think that could be a big, scary turnoff for some people. If Cancerian trusts their instincts, then they could find themselves saying, you know what? I've lived here for 50 years of my life, but by the time I've turned 52, I intend to immigrate to Italy. No, I feel like I'm supposed to be there. I'm ready to do it. It's not because I have a business waiting for me. It's not because there's anybody waiting for me. I just feel like I'm supposed to be there. That could freaking intimidate people, that Cancer has this ability to rebuild their life. But remember, Cancer came out as an empress. They came out as somebody that is very ready, very willing to like pursue the things that feel right to them. That can be super intimidating to other people that are like, I can't keep up. I haven't got that same trust in my own self. That feels scary. Well, not everybody will have the same trust in themselves, but I think Cancerian has a really strong intuition in this. V, how are you, babe? Vivian, that's awesome. SLH, hi. Kibby Shaw, thank you, hon. Spamola, awesome to see you. Linda, hi, babe. Awesome, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Terry Fields, Sun Soul, thank you guys. Bellum V, hi, babe. Thank you so much, James. Right back to you. Lots of love. And thanks again, KQ Hootie Hoot. Thank you, guys. I'll see you again on the other channel next. Bruce, like violets. Thank you, baby. Bye for now.